U.S. President Joe Biden has blocked a $15 billion takeover of U.S. Steel by Japan's Nippon Steel. Now, Biden said that it was necessary to protect American industry and to prevent a key national asset from coming under foreign control. Both Biden and President-elect Donald Trump opposed the takeover in order to protect U.S. jobs. Nippon Steel says it will challenge this decision in U.S. courts. The White House says it's not a slight against Japan and that it's aimed at keeping steel production in the United States. Well, for more now, I'm joined by William Chu. He's Deputy Director of Hudson Institute's Japan, and he's chair and focuses on U.S.-Japan relations. Mr. Chu, it's good to have you with us. What do you think is behind this decision by President Biden today?
I think this decision by President Biden actually makes very little sense, but I think his motivation is primarily driven by his own desire for a political legacy as the most pro-union president ever. Unfortunately, in doing so and only listening to the USW leadership, the union leadership, instead of the union steelworkers, he's actually condemning 11,000 steelworkers to lose their jobs and to devastate the communities in Western Pennsylvania and Indiana.
Why is that? Why is that? Why will jobs be lost because of this decision?
Well, U.S. Steel has already said that these facilities in Indiana and Western Pennsylvania are aging, and they do not have the capacity to essentially make new investments and renew them. Nippon Steel, however, has promised $3 billion, nearly $3 billion of investment in these facilities, and will also put in their leading steel technology to make these plants much more competitive in the long term for generations to come. And so by doing so, by depriving them of this investment, he's hurting the future generations of steelworkers in these areas.
What about the argument from Biden that foreign ownership would pose a risk to American national security?
Well, that's complete nonsense. Japan is the most important ally for the United States. It is the leading foreign direct investor in the United States. And by blocking this deal, you're depriving America of the ability to make competitive class-leading steel for generations to come at a time when there are real concerns with Chinese dumping into both European and American markets. The only way to compete against these unfair Chinese imports is to make competitive and effective steel. And he's depriving them of U.S. Steel of this opportunity.
Mr. Chair, I want to just get your opinion. If President Biden, if he were about to begin a second term in office, do you think he would have decided against this deal?
I believe so, because I think the political considerations were never really strong in his mind. I think it's evident that it is purely a union-driven idea, and I think it's very much done on behalf of Biden's idea in terms of his own historical legacy. I think 2024 has been a year of political disappointment for him. Mm-hmm. And I think this is his way of seizing the narrative of the most pro-union president in history. And I think he would have blocked it, because if it were a purely political thing, then he would have effectively, the union would have lost all leverage after November elections, and they would have come to an agreement with Nippon Steel. They haven't done so. This is not a political leverage issue. It is a purely internal union logic, as well as President Biden's own desire for a lasting political legacy that is misplaced.
And what do you think this is going to do to U.S.-Japanese relations?
Sure. So I think U.S.-Japan relations structurally are on a good ground, because I think given the uncertain strategic situation in the Pacific, I think we will continue to cooperate closely, both on defense issues as well as on economic issues. I think that with the Japanese government itself, they probably are very displeased, but they realize that what they need to focus on right now is to find ways to work effectively with the incoming Trump administration. And I assume that is where they're putting much of their energy. However, this blocking this deal does create unnecessary angst among Japanese firms that have been long-standing investors and supporters of American workers and American consumers and the American alliance. And I think this has created a lot of unnecessary stress at a time when we don't need this. We need to find more effective ways to work closely with our close allies on our shared priorities.
Okay, William Chu with the Hudson Institute. Mr. Chu, we appreciate your time and your insights on this Friday. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.